PM show nationwide, coast to coast, CRN Digital Talk Radio, the Larry Manetti edition. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The great Larry Manetti, star of great television. I'm telling you, you talk about Black Sheep Squadron, you talk about the series The Duke, you talk about Magnum PI. Almost, 10 years you did that show?
Yeah, long time.
Did you get tired of those guys after a while? Or did you guys really bond like a group?
Never. We had a great time. Actually, all the shows that I've done were successful because of the chemistry with the cast.
It's always what I've found, and I know nothing about television, but in watching and doing interviews with people, I find that it's a great script, and then the ensemble cast that kind of gels around the script and themselves, and then you got a winner.
Yeah, if it's on the page, it's on the stage, but if the chemistry works, it's almost guaranteed that it's going to be a hit. A lot of these shows just don't jive because they don't have the right people.
To pull it off.
They got a jerk or something, It's...
Did you audition for 2.5 Men? All right, let's take another phone call here, ladies and gentlemen. We got Gary calling from Michigan. Gary, you're on CRN Digital Talk Radio with the one and only Larry Manetti.
Hello.
Hi, Gary. How are you?
Oh, just doing fine, Larry Manetti. I used to watch Magnum PI for a very long time. I'm on the phone, by the way.
Yeah, we know that.
And
Thank you.
I have two quick questions for you. Were you and was Bob Conrad very proud of you working with Tom Selleck? And number two, were you a huge fan of music, especially Della Reese and Julie London?
Well, Della Reese, kind of. Julie London, big time, because I did Emergency, the show that she was on, and she was very, very nice to me.
You did
I liked her a lot, yeah.
And what about, was Robert Conrad proud of your work?
And Robert Conrad...
do you guys talk? Do you guys do?
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday. I called him today, look. Conrad and I are as tight as you can be, and he's always there for me, and he's always a supporter, So, if I do wrong, he'll say so, and I'll say so to him. So, it's great to have a good friend like that.
You're not real brothers, but you're kind of like you got that connection.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Anything else there, Gary?
Yeah. How did you become a universal contract player like almost anybody back in the 70s? Because I was born in the 70s, and I studied almost everybody at that particular time in the 80s, especially Joan Van Ark, whom you've heard of most familiar, or Kevin Dobson.
Right. So how did you?
Well, that's a good question. That's another Conrad story that's never been out. And Conrad hooked me up with Jack Webb, and I bought Jack Webb this watch, and he brought me over and introduced me to him, and I gave Jack Webb the watch and a pot of my special spaghetti sauce. And then about maybe a month later, Conrad was off in Vienna shooting assignment in Vienna, and I was hanging out in the commissary, and Jack Webb had just fired the cast of a television series called Chase, with Mitch Ryan and Gary Crosby, and I saw him come blasting into the commissary, and he was livid, and I guess the cast held him up for more money, and he saw me, and he walked up to me, and he says, "Are you an actor?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Follow me." And he pulled me, and the next thing I know, I was signing these papers, and I was under contract, and I was in a truck on the way to Long Beach, California, and that was
and
that
what
night,
series was this?
That was called Chase. So I forgot. Yeah, that was my first show.
Chase was your first show?
Chase was, yeah, and I popped out of a garbage can and yelled, "Freeze." So there you go, Gary.
Gary,
number one.
That's a good question there, Gary.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, buddy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manetti. And don't forget, if you get a chance to see Randy Mantooth or Joan Van Ark, one of my favorites, will you tell both of them that 80s TV rules? In fact, I grew up with Joni.
Okay.
Did you ever work with Joan Van Ark or Randy?
Randy Mantooth, I've worked with several times. Nice guy.
Yeah, that's an old name from the past.
Yeah,
Randy
he was a neat guy. Actually, and Kevin Dobson's a friend. Yeah,
get on that microphone a little bit more there, Nancy.
We were on in Seattle. I was doing the Emergency movie,
right.
And we were on a ferry. I mean, one that floats. And
Take it easy.
All right.
Names have floated around here in the past.
And I don't know how, but accidentally one of the chains broke on one of the cars in the back car on the ferry.
Yes.
Went floating into the ocean. And I saw it, and I looked at Randy Mantooth, and I said, there's a car that fell off the ship, and it's floating. And he said, don't say anything. They might go back and get it, and we're gonna miss our start time. I'll never forget.
Oh my! Start time for golf?
For shooting.
Oh, for shooting.
Yeah.
And so nobody said anything.
I
and
guess
lost
they
the
found
car?
out later, but we didn't go back and get it.
Wow! And it was one of the Sellecks that Tom Selleck gave to people.
John,
I'm just kidding.
very good.
Did you dive in and then people with spear gun shout shark?
Too many sharks in there.
Too many sharks. That's good. Hey, thanks so much. 1-800-336-2225. Our call-in number 800-336-2225. So you were a contract player at Universal.
Yeah.
What do they do? They just hire you, and then you just hang out until somebody grabs you.
And they find different shows. One day you're pushing a broom. The next day you're in a courtroom. And in fact, I remember Robert Wagner was doing Switch, and Conrad went in and grabbed him, introduced me, and said, see if you can get Manetti on the show, and he did. And excuse me. It was a great experience being a contract player. You learn while you work.
We should mention you've come off a very bad cold, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard a couple of coughs.
Sorry, yeah.
Just point it. I'll cut the mic off. But that's radio biz. But you sound like it. You're okay to finish the show?
Yeah, I think I'll live.
Are you sure?
Just a little while.
We have doctors standing by during this break to administer you.
Maybe if you'd be kind enough to give this old person some brandy.
Dr. Tomas will be in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Then we'll get to Justin in Canada.
If you need a new building, you need the Anthem Steel Advantage.